Hey everyone, so this is assignment 10, I believe, for the Introduction to Digital Fundamentals course that I'm taking. The theme for this week is your favorite food. So my favorite food is Texas Roadhouse ribeye steak with fully loaded potato, and then their dinner rolls. Uh, so I'm going to try to mimic a little bit of how last week's assignment went with a slight modification. So let's go ahead and open up Photoshop. And then we're going to drag and drop in the background. And so I kind of found a background that slightly resembles the professor's. So the first thing we'll do is make sure we go ahead and save the file. So that we don't lose any of our work. Alright, and we'll go ahead and make a copy of our background. Alright, so the first thing we'll do now is go to channels. And if you hover over the RBG layer, that channel layer, you'll notice that you have a hand icon. By pressing the control, it turns into a hand icon with a white rectangle. And we're going to go ahead and click on that channel layer. And that produces a selection for us. Go back to layers, and then we want to do a solid color adjustment layer. And so it took that selection and it applied a mask layer for us. And then I want to use a red color. So as we're getting closer to Christmas next month, I kind of wanted to have a green and red background. All right. So then the next thing we'll do is I'm going to, also want to make these background layers invisible. And so you can kind of see it apply the red color to some of that mask. All right, and then we're going to go ahead and add another solid color actually below the red layer. And we'll make this one green. All right. And so we kind of have a green-red Christmas theme here. All right, I'll go ahead and save it again. All right. So last week's assignment, we had 3 pictures of our favorite person. So I went ahead and did 3 pictures of my favorite food. And so we're going to go ahead and drop those in. All right. And before I do that, I want to make sure that I'm kind of above that layer, or at least selected. All right, and then drag and drop. Okay, we're going to adjust the size of some of these pictures here. Okay. There are a few different techniques that he showed us last week. So I'll try to remember if I can. I'm going to try to remember how he did it. So the first thing I want to try to do is generate like a rectangle mask for this one. So I believe we go to the marquee tool, and we kind of just make our selection there. And then we just add a layer mask from that. So that was pretty simple. All right. So then I want to try to kind of apply that same mask to the steak here. I'll try to make this a little bit close to the same height. There we go. Alright, so on the potato layer, right now we have the mask and the image linked. So if I move that, I'm actually moving both the image and the mask. If we unlink it, and I've got the image selected here, because you can tell by the white outline box, it'll actually just move the image. Or I can select the mask and it'll move the mask. Alright. So what I want to do is select the mask, and you'll notice that I have a hand icon. If I press Control, I get that same white box behind it. So that gives me a selection. Okay. Then I need to make sure that not the Move tool, but one of either the Marquee tool or the Lasso tool is chosen. And so you see I have a white arrow with a white box. And if I press the left click and I press Shift, it tries to move it only in, so right now it's in the 45 degree. So we'll just release the Shift. We'll go ahead and undo. Select it again. Alright. And then that moves it over. Then I go to the stake image itself and I add the mask. So it's about the same size mask. Obviously it's in a different position. And so I also want to, let's go ahead and move the image over a little bit. And then unlink. Alright, sorry about that. I had to go take care of my dogs. Alright, so we've done basically 2 mask layers. We kind of copied the one to the other one. The roles, I want to do a different type of mask. So I'm going to go ahead and just add the mask to it now. I'm going to go ahead and zoom in on the picture itself. And that may have been just a little too much. Alright. And so I'm going to use the quick selection tool here. And we'll kind of just choose some of these dinner rolls. Alright, and let's get rid of some of those. Alright. So now I'm going to do a select inverse. And what this should allow it to do is when I do a brush over it, it'll make this selection disappear. So the next thing we want to do is do the brush tool. And you'll notice that I have the black in the foreground and the white in the background. And so what this is doing, it's actually applying a mask to some of the image and just fading it out. Right. So I just hit W and we're going to do another selection here. We'll try to get rid of that piece, some of that. And then go back to B. Go back to W. And then back to the brush through B. Alright. And then Control D to deselect. And I'm just going to go over that a little bit. Okay. Go back and save it again. Go to zoom back out, fit the window. And so by applying a mask, I basically have taken my selection and made just the rows what I want. Alright. So then I'm just going to do one more thing. We're going to go ahead and add drop shadow to the boxes. Okay. And then I'm going to press Control and Alt and use the FX and just drag it down. And so that made a copy over to there. I'm kind of curious, this may not work, but it's not pretty. But you got a little bit of a background drop shadow on these. Alright, so that's my tutorial for the mask layer. Let's go ahead and save it again. Go ahead and export it out as a JPEG, or we'll save as JPEG. Alright. And go ahead and just unselect that, unlink it. I think we're good. Alright, actually I'm going to go back in and let's go ahead and just remove that shadow from it, from the rolls. Yeah. Alright, save it. Alright, and that's it. Alright, appreciate y'all watching, and we'll see you next time.